Vinci stares at the woman, standing before him in a state of total disbelief. Sweat rolls down his forehead as he stammers, completely unable to comprehend the weight of her betrayal. He finally manages to find his voice, asking if she truly is Professor Sadi, who now stands tall with a frightening grin and a single, glowing purple eye. Her cold silence only serves to confirm his worst fears. Suddenly, massive and bulky figures step out of the swirling dust behind Vinci. These monstrous men have sharp blue crystals embedded throughout their bodies and look towards Sadi with an air of fanatical devotion. One of them reports that he has successfully destroyed the main wall as ordered. Meanwhile, the others strangely beg her to deliver a punishment. They ask her to hit them and step on them, openly referring to her as their queen. He looks at the monstrous group in utter confusion and asks who they are. Sadi looks down at him with a twisted and cruel smile. She reveals that these individuals are actually wanted criminals she has been secretly training for this exact day. A horrible realization suddenly hits Vinci. He remembers all the times she missed major investigations, how she was constantly drunk, and the missing information in her reports. He realizes with shock that her acting like a failure was just a clever lie to cover up how she was recruiting this private army. The criminals blush with visible excitement and ask for their next direct order. Sadi's smile grows even wider as she points her weapon forward and orders them to spread out and set everything off. The crystal-embedded criminals obey instantly, leaping away in all directions within human speed to do exactly what she asks. Vinci and the teachers standing behind him are left stunned by the suddenness of the movement. As the grim reality of the situation sinks in, Benz's face twists into pure panic after the explosion, when Smog manages to create a blue barrier to protect the surviving students from a blast. However, the resulting damage is terrible. The ground is covered with the bodies of students caught in the sudden attack, their blood staining the stone floor as Smog struggles to hold up the barrier. A desperate Vinci shouts at Sadi, demanding to know why she is committing such a terrible act. Sadi stands amidst the dust and debris and simply continues to smile. She mocks him with a hollow compliment, saying he really is an academy professor for a reason since he managed to survive the explosion. He glares back at her, asking if she has always been a lunatic or if she has only recently gone crazy. A thought then strikes him. He asks if her current actions are caused by the incident of the 47, the historical event that ruined her family line. Sadi looks genuinely impressed that he knows her specific family history. She praises the old man for his incredible intelligence and asks if Vinci thinks she is doing this solely to avenge her family. He yells back, quickly brushing off the significance of the event. He says the incident of the 47 was nothing more than a failed rebellion led by fools blinded by a desire for power. Sadi's expression turns icy cold as she replies that she is certain he sees it that way. However, standing over the wreckage she caused, she tells him that he is actually far from the truth. She begins to recount the history from 35 years ago. Shortly after the empire was united, she explains that 47 family heads led a coordinated attack on the palace, killing countless people in what became known as the incident of the 47 families. The rebellion ended in a total massacre for the rebels. 46 of the leaders were executed on the spot. Sadi reveals there was only one survivor, the leader of the Sadi family. This man was her grandfather. He was arrested and thrown into the legendary prison known as Nouvelle Vague. Sadi raises a finger, explaining that while the surface reason for the rebellion was to seize the throne, their true motive was entirely different. He listens closely as she continues, revealing that the imperial family was terrified that other families would join in, so they hid the truth from the public. Sadi then grabs the hair of the unconscious and bleeding headmaster Winston, lifting his head roughly with a scary glare. She declares that the true goal was to bring back an era where only the strong survive, the return of the Warring States period. He looks at her in confusion, repeating the term Warring States period aloud. Sadi explains that during the peace following unification, strength was no longer the primary rule for justice and power. She explains with visible disgust that society now accepts the idea that even the weak can hold high positions and beat the strong if they just work hard enough. Sadi's voice grows intense as she says the 47 families simply could not accept this new reality. She describes a dark picture where peace turns humans into mindless livestock. Those who lose their strength become targets to be used and treated like trash, despite wearing human skin. Vinci, unable to understand her twisted logic, calls her crazy. He asks if she truly killed Winston just because she believes in such madness. He reminds her that Winston stepped up to protect her during the incident of the 47, saving her from being punished just for being related to the rebels. He shouts that Winston even sponsored her so she could eventually become a professor. He asks how she can repay the kindness shown to a girl who lost her family with such a deep betrayal. Sadi stands silently, holding Winston's head as Vinci yells at her. Her expression then shifts to one of pure fury. Gritting her teeth, she snaps at him to shut up, her eyes glowing with purple rage. She screams that this scumbag was the one who actually arrested her grandfather. She reveals that the reason Winston suffered from manic congestion was because he was injured while fighting her grandfather. With a careless toss, she throws Winston's limp, bleeding body onto the dirt. She coldly adds that besides her personal revenge, he is the face of the school, so he simply has to die, looking on with total disgust. Sadi throws Vinci's earlier words back at him. She mocks his claim that the Academy is a place that truly worships the peak of martial arts. Her face twists into a sneer as she bluntly declares that his statement is complete bullshit. Glaring at the golden emblem of the Colosseo Academy, she spits out her true feelings. She calls it a trashy place that only serves to hide martial arts away. She explains that the school only exists to tame true warriors with promises of government jobs and success, turning them into obedient tools for the system as purple energy begins to surge violently around her body. She declares that the current system is totally broken. She states her brutal belief that the strong should be the only symbols of power, while everyone else should be eliminated. She vows that she will gladly become that disaster herself. Gripping her whip tightly, she warns them not to dare whine about their inevitable fate. She promises to force them to accept this new, violent reality. Letting out a deafening roar, Sadi unleashes her full power, surrounded by a storm of purple energy and her crystal minions. She screams that she will become a natural disaster, but her rampage is instantly interrupted. A massive, blinding beam of red light slashes down through the battlefield. The attack slams into the ground with incredible force, causing a huge explosion of red energy that shatters the stone floor and sends debris flying everywhere. Sadi freezes, her expression shifting instantly from arrogance to pure shock as she witnesses the sudden destruction. From the cloud of dust and red energy, a new figure emerges. Standing calmly over the broken bodies of Sadi's crystal minions is a man in a sharp suit holding a sword. It is Osiris. Osiris glares at Sadi with a cold, piercing expression. The crystal-embedded criminals begin to panic, looking down in terror at the reinforcements that have suddenly appeared. They cannot understand where these powerful fighters came from. Despite their fear, they try to regroup, shouting that they have the numbers, and a single swordsman cannot fight them all. Two of the monsters lunge at Osiris from the air, trying to overwhelm him. However, before they can even reach him, they're blasted out of the sky by powerful energy beams and arrows, with one of them taking a direct hit to the head. Watching from a distance, the shooters reveal themselves. It is Cervantes, the patriarch of the Azure Spearman family, and Roderick, the patriarch of the mystical archer family. Cervantes watches with a grin, impressed that Osiris, the young lord of the Baskerville family, has reached such a high level of skill at his age. Unwilling to be outdone by a junior and motivated to protect their own children in the academy, both patriarchs power up their weapons. Roderick agrees that they cannot let the younger generation beat them just yet, and they prepare to join the fight with their sides covered. Osiris turns to his brothers, the Baskerville triplets. He orders them to take the girl and get her to the safe zone immediately. The triplets shout in agreement and run off, carrying the child to safety, now free to fight without holding back. Osiris walks toward the remaining enemies. His eyes glow with killing intent as he declares he will kill everyone who gets in his way. He focuses his mana into his blade, unleashing the devastating Baskerville 6 technique. He moves in a blur, carving a massive star-shaped pattern through the enemy ranks. The crystal monsters are instantly cut into pieces, unable to react to the speed and precision of the attack. Then Smog steps forward to point out her failure. He tells her that it is not just the Academy staff she is fighting, but the united strength of all the powerful families in the Empire. He asks if she still does not understand the basic truth that the power used to take from others is always weaker than the power used to protect. Sadi laughs in his face, finding his lecture on the power of protection totally amusing with a crazy, twisted expression. She licks her finger and offers a chilling counterargument. She reasons that all she has to do is get rid of the things he wants to protect. She believes that making his power useless is the key. With a crazy grin, she asks him if she is not right. Her brutal belief is immediately shown nearby in the rubble. A child cries uncontrollably over the fallen body of her mother, screaming for her. Looming over the sad scene is a massive crystal monster. The beast looks down at the helpless pair, noting that the mother is technically still alive, and asks the terrified girl what she plans to do now. The monster's face twists into a nasty, happy smile as it prepares to finish the job. It declares that its queen, Sadi, has given a simple order to kill all the weak. The child begins to shake violently, her eyes wide with panic as she stammers in denial, paralyzed by fear and facing certain death. She lets out a final, terrified scream as the monster prepares to strike with lethal intent.